Sounds and special effects can really take your fighter to the next level, and we'll be showing you how to do that today. So to start, you'll notice on the right here there are several drop downs for sounds and for effects. So in our case, we've done our dash attack already. We have this animation active, but currently we want to add some more sound effects to it. And so before I do anything else, I want to demonstrate to you how it looks and sounds currently. Alright, so not bad, but I think it could be improved with some additional sound effects or sound tweaking and some visual effects. So let's say around the time that the rocket comes out and this sound plays, we want to have some kind of big explosion to show that, you know, these rockets are igniting and we want to do something dramatic. So to do that, let's go under effects and hit new. And from here we have a list of effects and we can actually preview what they are by clicking this play. So these look pretty nice. Some of them are pretty big and dramatic. What about like, oh, that's pretty dramatic. What about Ultra Explosion? Alright, so we'll go over the top and we'll select Ultra Explosion. And by adding that, that's added to this list. So not only will this sound play, but this will play as well, which is going to be over the top, but it will help the point. So what we can also do here is set an horizontal offset. So if I do 40, let's do negative 40, it's going to go a bit behind my character. So that's a bit more behind. If I do negative 400, you'll really notice. It's way back there now. So I'm going to stick to negative 40. Now let's say I wanted it to be a little bit higher. Maybe I do like a plus 20. And now it's a little higher than it was before. So I'm going to do attached true. And this time it's going to follow him along. So as he's moving, it's going to stay along with him. So now, when the jets ignite, a massive explosion is going to happen along with the sound effects. So let's see what that looks like in-game. Alright, look at that. So the explosion has happened, and it's very much, it very much follows him as he's moving. If we were to just leave it behind and not have him follow, this is what it would look like instead. So you can see the effect gets left behind. Something I alluded to in another video was how you can change one sound to be a bunch of different things. Like let's say you have some options here between, let's change the pitch to 1 for a second. Let's change from Energy Blast small 1 to small 2. So as you can hear, there's several different versions. And let's say you like one, but it's not quite sounding the way that you want. If you change the pitch to say, let's say 0.4, it sounds a lot more explosive and crazy. So let's change it to say 0.7. Alright, so we'll see how that sounds and looks. Not bad. If you want to add an additional sound effect and be kind of extra, you can go over here and click New under Sounds, and here you can start previewing the sound effects that are available, or you can search for them. If I want to look for an explosion sound, I might search for the word explosion, and here are the options. Alright, I like this one. I'm going to select this one, and once I click it, it's going to be added to the list here. But I want it to sound a little bit more dramatic, so I'm going to increase the volume from 1 to 1.3. A little bit louder now, and I'm going to change the pitch all the way down to 0.5. Okay, that's going to sound large and dramatic, so let's hear what that sounds like combined with our other sound effect. Alright, so now it's a huge difference. When he's dashing, it makes a huge explosion sound and all that. But you have yet another option if you want to do some special effects. You can use sprites as layers and use those as effects. So let's demonstrate that. I've already created my own set of sprites for, you'll notice that these rocket flames appear, but they look a little static right now. They don't look like they're really fire or it's really energy. So we're going to alleviate that, and I'm going to import some sprites that I've already separated. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a new sprite layer, and I'm going to name this, for my own reference, Fire Boost Effects. Okay, and starting on this frame, I'm going to grab this one here. I'll do the drag to select method. And if I simply right click, that'll import it. And that is not what I wanted. I'm going to undo because what you want to make sure when you have multiple sprite layers that you're selecting the right one. I mistakenly stayed on this layer. I want to make sure I'm selecting this layer. I just undid that with Control Z. And try that again. So click and drag, right click to import. There we go. Now I'm going to actually align these so they're perfectly lining up over the base sprite. So you can see the leftover here. I'm going to actually replace this sprite with a different one by clicking here, selecting it, and then dragging it over. I'll do that for these last two as well. Finally here. Great, so now what I can do is I can make sure that this layer is selected. And what we're going to do is we're going to make this an effect layer. So if I check this on, already I have these new options that are not available to me on this other sprite layer. So here I'm going to actually increase the glow. Now look at that, you have some real-time glow effects on this. And I'm actually going to select all these keyframes for this sprite. I'm going to change the value so it's affecting all of these sprites. So you can see here, there's this cool glow effect. If I want, I can add a bit of opacity. So if I increase the opacity, it's going to be more see-through. If I drag down like this, you can kind of see through it a bit more. But one thing to remember, of course, is that the layer behind it is still visible. So actually what I'm going to go and do is I'm going to erase the fire behind it. So to do that, I'll select the erase tool, make sure the brush size is 1, get a really nice close view here, and I'm just going to start erasing the old fire here. And I'm going to go to each one, making sure I have the right layer selected. And I am going to keep erasing here. Okay, so now it's going to look like there's some gaps, but that is intended because as soon as we turn this back on, guess what? We have our fiery effects back, which is great. So now we can adjust the opacity if we'd like, and it's going to have that effect. And lastly, you can actually adjust the scale. We won't be doing that in our case, but you can actually increase the scale like this if you'd like. And let's say I wanted to increase the scale for multiple items. Again, just click and drag, and you're going to be affecting the entire layer. And then also, if you select move, what you can also do is check this box that says move all sprites on layer. And what that will do is when you move this one, it's actually going to move every single other one as well. So pretty handy tool there, but we're not going to adjust the scale, but there are all kinds of things you can do. You can change the offset of the effects and the Z-axis, the Y-axis. You have tons of options here. So I recommend experimenting with those and getting your effects looking just right. All right, so now we have our massive explosion, which we've added here and here, and we've added some sprite layer effects. Let's save real fast here, and let's see what it looks like in game. So check it out, we have this glow effect now on the flames, which looks awesome. So there you have it. Effects and sound effects, visual effects and sound effects in Smack Studio.